Welcome back, everybody. Today's tutorial, we are going to be taking a look at how to create this crazy infinite zoom effect. These are just a couple of stock images. We're going to create some track mats. Then we're going to animate those door panels to move in all sorts of different ways. And we're going to be creating these layers within 3D space. This is going to create a unique zoom effect. Hope you guys are excited for this. Let's get started. Let's go ahead and create a new composition. The first thing we want to do is drag in our first asset, which is going to be this door. Hit Command R on your keyboard. That'll bring up the rulers. And then using the rulers, you can drag out these guides. And the reason we're dragging out these guides is because we want to make all these different panels of the door animate different ways. Then we're going to grab our rectangle tool and draw in shapes, which are going to snap to those guides. And those shapes are going to become our track mats. Going to minimize these layers, and then I'm going to hide them all. And we're going to set the track mat to layer number 12, which is shape layer number 1. We're going to find the offset effect, going to throw that on there and set a keyframe on the first frame. And then we're going to go to about 2 seconds, and then we're going to set a second keyframe. And I'm just going to animate this going left and right. Duplicate that layer. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. At 2 seconds, I'm just going to animate the position and then set the track mat to shape layer number 2. Move this one. And the reason I'm deleting the keyframe before starting a new keyframe is so I can get it reverted back to its original position. So that way I can see where it needs to go up and down from that. And then copy and paste. And then same thing here. Set the track mat. And I'm only moving this in one direction. So right now you can see that both of the ones are moving out, and then the middle one is moving up. I'm going to continue to do that for the remainder of the layers. And you can start to see the effect here, and this is what it's going to look like. So let's go ahead and continue that on for the remainder of the layers. And now you can see the finished effect. Now, at 4 seconds, I'm going to go ahead and move that over, and I'm going to move it one more time in a different direction. So I'm going to find the latest one and just kind of go. So I went left and right last time, so I'm going to go up and down this time. And I'm going to continue to do that for the other shapes. I'm going to select all the keyframes and hit F9 for easy ease. And here you can see what that finished movement looks like. All right, now I'm going to redo that animation with a different image. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new composition, bring in the second image, and then we're going to get started. I'm going to resize this so it fits the frame. I'm going to bring up my rulers, and then I'm going to drag out some guides, just like we did the first time. And then I'm going to grab my rectangle tool and I'm going to draw out some shapes. And then I'm going to copy and paste that door layer. And then I'm going to throw in a offset effect. Set a keyframe on the first frame. And then I'm going to go about 2 seconds and set another keyframe. And then I'm just going to copy and duplicate that 6 times or 5 times. And then I'm going to change the track mat to match. So each one has its own track mat. Now I'm going to select the first shape or first window, and then I'm going to animate that. And now I'm going to do the remainder of the door shapes just like that first one. And then I'm going to go to about 6 seconds and do the same thing again. So that way we can have it moving in 2 different directions. And here you see what that looks like. I'm going to select all those keyframes, hit F9 for easy ease. And this is what the effect looks like so far. And here's the first door animation that we had. All right, so now I'm going to select everything. I'm going to pre-compose by hitting Command-Shift-C. And I'm going to put everything into a composition, and the same thing with the other door animation. We'll call them door animation 1 and door animation 2. And now we're going to create a new composition, and we're going to drag both of those pre-comps in. And then we're going to draw in a mask here in this middle panel, and we're going to set that to subtract. So we're going to go at about 4 seconds in and move that keyframe over. And then at 2 seconds, we're going to start the animation. And then I'm going to go 1 frame over and then move that mask off our artboard. So that way when it hits that keyframe, it'll just snap into place and then animate up. Let's go ahead and bring in our door animation number 2. And with our door animation number 2, we're going to make that a 3D layer and then push it back into Z space. We're going to add our camera. We'll make this a 50 millimeter, a 2-node camera. And then we're going to go frame number 1, toggle the layer options down, and then we're going to set a keyframe for the point of interest and the position. And then we're going to go to about 4 seconds. And then we're going to zoom in using our camera controls. If you press C on the keyboard, that's going to toggle through them, and we'll get to the zoom one. And we want to zoom in just enough where we get past that first set of doors. And now that we're here, we're going to position this second set of doors where they need to be by moving it in Z space and then up and down. And you can see what that looks like. It looks like we had a little sliver of background showing there, so we want to reposition this so we're not seeing anything behind it. It's just seeing that empty space. And you want to move this in Z space, not scale. All right, so now there's our second set of doors. Now we're going to do the mask on this set of doors. So just like we did before, we're going to draw in our mask, set that to subtract, and then we're going to animate the end frame. So hit a keyframe for the end frame, and then we're going to go back 2 seconds, and then we're going to start the animation. So we'll select the 2 corners, and then we're going to bring this one the opposite way. So we're going to go up with it. And then we're going to go back 1 frame and then move that mask off. So that way you don't see it until you need to. Okay, we're going to bring in another door animation. So we'll copy and paste that first layer, bring that up to the top. Let's see what the position was for the second set of doors. And it looks like we went 1800. So this next set of doors will go at 3600. For the Z space. Perfect. We'll go to about 6 seconds, and then we're going to animate our camera again. So hit C for your camera controls, and then we're going to zoom. And we only want to zoom. We don't want to go up and down with this. We don't want to tilt the camera. We just want to zoom. So we'll zoom right past the door frame there. And now we're to our third set of keyframe, or third set of doors. And then we're just going to position these doors where they need to be. So right as soon as we go through that second layer of doors. So we'll just make sure that there's no empty space here. That looks great. And let's copy and paste that second layer of the doors. And then let's scoot that down the timeline. So it looks like about every 2 seconds is where we're introducing a new set of doors. So we'll slide that down, and then we'll add another 1800 to it, so 5400. I don't think my math was good. We'll fix it later. All right. So let's go ahead and zoom in just till we're right past the doors. And let's just take a look just to check that everything's working like it should be. Yeah, I think that's looking good. Here at 12 seconds, I'm just going to hit end to end our preview bar, and then I'm going to right click on that preview bar. Then I'm just going to right click and trim comp to work area. So that way we're only seeing the 12 seconds that we're working with. All right, let's take a look here. At 12 seconds, we need to reposition that door. Just to make sure, yep, we're just right past the door. So now we can go ahead and select it. Hit P for position if it's not already there, and then we'll push this back in Z space, and then we'll center this a little bit better. What I'm realizing is that we need a little bit more animation because the animation stops before the camera fully makes it through the door layer, And so I'm going to go back into our composition, our door animation number 1. I'm going to go up to 6 seconds, and then we're going to add some more keyframes. So just like we did before, I'm just going to animate these up and down, just making them go a different direction than what we did previously. All right, now I'm going to go into our door animation number 2. I'm going to go up to 6 seconds, and then we're going to add some more keyframes. So just like we did before, I'm just going to animate these up and down. I'm going to take our door composition, and I'm going to make a new composition by dragging that composition into the new composition icon. And then I'm going to duplicate. So I'm going to bring in the doors 2. I'm going to slide that down to about 7 seconds. Actually, I'm going to slide that down to about 4 seconds, because this is where the mask starts to reveal the layer behind it. And I'm just going to bring in another set of doors behind that. So basically what we're doing is we're nesting the animation within another animation, so that way we keep duplicating these animations. And now that I've gone 4 seconds, I'm just going to duplicate the doors, and then I'm going to go over to 8 seconds, and I'm going to putting another layer of doors. And you can see how that creates this looping effect where we don't see anything but what we need to. On the last set of doors, I want to make sure that when we arrive to the last set of doors, that the doors are completely out of the frame. So that way we don't have anything funky going on when we layer in all these different sets of doors. So you can take a look at the effect now, and you can see how we have this kind of zooming infinite effect going on where it just keeps going door through door through door. And just to give you a little variation on ideas that you can do with these doors, you can add the kaleidoscope effect. And this comes up with some really cool and interesting effects. So you can start to see how once we go through a couple sets of doors, then we enter this world that just goes wild, which is kind of a cool effect. But if you don't want to, you can always take that off and just go with the traditional route. I'm just throwing out ideas here. Lastly, I'm just going to add a new solid. I'm going to make this black, click OK, and then I'm going to go up to my rectangle tool, go to the oval, and then I'm just going to double click to make a mask. And then I'm going to hit F for feather. I'm going to feather that out, and then I'm going to set it to subtract. So that way I'm just creating a vignette. Hit T for transparency, or actually S for scale. Hit S for scale and scale that up just a little bit just to get rid of those edges. Just to make this feel a little bit more polished. And there you go, guys. This is how we make this infinite zoom effect using these doors. I hope you stuck with me till the end of the tutorial. If you did, let me know what you liked about the tutorial. Comment down below. Give us a like on the video. And if you like what we're doing here, make sure you subscribe to the channel to come back to the next tutorial. I'm Julio, your motion sidekick, here to help you out on your motion side quest. Until next time, I love you guys. Peace out.